Not too long ago, I posted a video regarding the 2024 unit awards. Now in this video, I wanted to showcase that I could make a high quality video, as I feel like the bar for content in the Dragon Ball Legends community isn't very high. So I went out and tried to produce a very high quality video, and regardless of how the reception was, I felt I put my heart into that video, so I was happy with the result. But with that, the focus being an award show, there's going to be awards given out that people definitely disagreed with. I went through the comments and there was a lot of things that popped up that I do want to address in this video, while I also addressed a lot of things in stream. And in my stream we had a very wholesome conversation, but this is another opportunity to engage in the comments that I saw in that video. So with that being said, I'll be highlighting the biggest points that I saw in the comment section for that video. Also, this was my first time doing an award show of any sort, but I was very happy the way it came out. But I thought I could have had more categories, but the video was 30 minutes, which is a long time. But maybe there were some categories you would have liked to see that I didn't include. So under this video, since I will probably do the same video next year for 2025 unit awards, leave a comment on categories you would like to see that I didn't have in the previous video. There's a lot to address, and I want to let you guys know in this video and the award show video, there was 0% bias put in with any of the awards handed out. That might be hard for some of you guys to believe, because some of you guys' coping mechanisms for things would immediately be to say that somebody's biased or they're glazing, but there's logical premise behind everything. But there are some things I could easily see the other way, but you will understand if you watch this whole video. So let's get into this. I'm not going to talk about every single category in the video, just some main focuses. The first one, the biggest one, being the most overpowered unit category. Now with this, a lot of people have different interpretations for what could be the most overpowered unit. So I want to tell you what I considered, and then you can follow along with me. So I had all the units in their prime state, the conditions they were put in, and how they were able to perform, also how they were able to do it. Now with that alone being said, there's a lot of factors that would go into this argument, but let's talk about the three that I had. So we had Super 17, who I actually had as the winner. We had Ultra Margin Vegeta, and we had Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now with those three being in the contenders, I also want to add that I only had 3 contenders for every single category. Otherwise, with only the categories I had in this video, it would be a complete 1 hour, 2 hour award show, and I didn't feel like I needed to go that far. So I kept it 3 contenders for every single category. The biggest comment that I saw throughout the whole video was that Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan didn't get enough representation. However, even if he should have been a contender, which I could argue, sure, he could have been a contender, I'm not even against that in the slightest. I should have actually put him in more just for sake, but I'm not doing things just for sake. I was trying to be very, very serious with the contenders that I felt. But regarding this category here, a lot of people felt that more means you're better, which is nowhere near the truth in Dragon Ball Legends. You can do a very minimal amount, but if that minimal amount is super dangerous, you're still better. There's a lot of cases like this in Dragon Ball Legends history. Let's talk about the UI units. Even though they require high skill, if I can just dodge you every single time, that's all I need in my kit and you will never be able to hit me. And that's insane. Units that have nullification of endurance like tag droids, and on top of that, all they needed was card draw speed and they can extend their combo. They're insane. They don't have a lot of things. Even Ultra Golden Frieza, one of the biggest units in 2024, he doesn't have a lot, but he's very, very effective, and we saw what he did in his prime. So somebody that has more, for example, in this case, I'm using Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan because the comment sections were very, very frustrated with him not making the video as much as he could have. And again, I should have put him more in the contenders category. He wouldn't have been winning anything, and I'll tell you why. So I'm going to list out some of the things he has. You know, the explosive green makes him a rat. The blue card counter is amazing, of course. Endurance, no buff cancellation, but that's still insane. 2 lives. Last stand, demon of death. He gets 2 ultimates, the strike counter, the anti-blast, which is probably the biggest thing about him. Those are the main factors in his kit. But if we're regarding their prime, which would be his release, he wasn't even holding the throne alone. And that's very negotiable. Some people would say, oh, he was definitely number 1. But the fact that there was a discussion in place says a lot. Now, that argument could also be put against Super 17, but here's where doing less and being more efficient is better than what Gohan could apply. And I can apply this with all the contenders that I had. Super 17 only has 3 weapons, and one of them isn't an exclusive weapon to him. It's just insane. The main 2 are his green card and the fact that when he taps you, you will lose the ability to use strikes and blues, which hinders almost every single player in the game. Bear in mind, tap attacks are free. Quick attacks happen so often, tap attacks happen so often, and to restrict you from playing over something like that is actually a lot more mind-blowing than some of you guys will even know. But the second thing is his green card, and in his prime, if you got green carded, you're losing a unit. That's just what it is. There wasn't units that could get around him. There's no other unit in the game where if you get caught in this one position, you're immediately done, minus a few exceptions, and those guys would be ones with like unblockable mechanics. Rising Rush with fusing Super Vegito, Ultra Margin Vegeta's lock-in, or any lock-in in general. You literally can't do anything. So the no switching just gives him that edge, easily. But talking more about Gohan, everything he has in his kit, you can play around it. Now, it's not the easiest to play around and it's still super oppressive. This is not a downplay, but there's a solution for it. In other cases, once you're in that position, there's no solution for it. So Super 17's green card, once you're caught in that, at that time, nobody was getting out. Unless you rush him, his counter's going off every time. You have to be able to one-shot G4, which most people are not one-shotting anybody, and in their prime, the only other person one-shotting G4 is G4. Subpar using Super Vegito, it's just his mechanic, he's not overall overpowered. And then Ultra Margin Vegeta, if he locks you in, that's still crazy, but he's not killing everybody in his prime because lots of people had endurance anyways. So you can see how the assessment varies when we're talking about their primes and what they were able to do, how efficiently they were able to perform. 3 to 4 blast arts, Super 17 got you down. But Gohan's gonna need a lot more weapons and a lot more situations to really do you like that. And G4, he was one-shotting everybody. And Ultra Margin Vegeta, we already know. But just for the sake of the conversation, I'm willing to knock down G4 anyways. He was never winning either. For me at least, it was easily between Super 17 and Ultra Margin Vegeta. And I think a lot of people are overlooking the fact that people compared Super 17 to the dictator from the 1940s. Please Google who I'm talking about. You don't understand what you're talking about. Everybody was calling him that. It's no other unit in 2024 had that label. That's all I have to say for that. Not to discredit Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's oppressive nature. So even if he was a contender, he wasn't winning. Now, a lot of you might have noticed for my explanation regarding the most overpowered unit, I would have contradicted the point of me putting the most overpowered Ultra as G4 over Margin Vegeta. If I was being consistent, that would be the case. But the only reason I put G4 over UMV is because of how hard the developers, not the player base, the developers went on countering G4. We've never seen a countering like this in a game, and I had to make a pure exception. Now I could understand, like I said, in my top 2 overpowered for the whole year, I have Super 17 or Ultra Margin Vegeta. But if you want to view it this way, it's very reasonable and I think it shouldn't be argued otherwise. The devs went ahead and dropped such specific counters that we've never seen before. Triku, every time you hit an explosive green with no switching, look who's gonna come in and stop you. Triku, that's a problem. All those buff cancellation units for the most overpowered Ultra in the game who's gonna nuke you no matter what health you have, it would make a lot of sense. Obviously, if using Super Vegeta who's on the same team as him, that's a very specific counter. How many yellows we got? Indestructible, comeback. They made all these things so that you couldn't get one-shotted by G4 and his bandit on Fusion Warriors. And I think that is overlooked a lot for the pressure that Ultra Margin Vegeta put on the game. As a developer, if they address something and it's very apparent, they didn't openly say it, but you just open your eyes and you can see. They wanted G4 dead, and everybody was chiming in on the joke. This guy got slaughtered. They also dropped Vegito blue to counter the gauges in entirety, and then Beast Gohan making him yellow just to put the nail in the coffin even further. I feel like it's an easy perspective to see, but I could easily understand why somebody would go the other way. So if you have Ultra Margin Vegeta as the most overpowered Ultra, I agree. But again, it's still not Gohan. Not gonna talk much on this, but this one here is regarding the best Zenkai. I gave it to Kid Buu over the likes of Red Cell and Corrupted Zamasu. Some people thought Corrupted Zamasu was snubbed. Personally, I don't think so. The fact that a Zenkai could compete against the likes of fusing Super Vegeta on his own team Majin Buu Saga. Imagine a Zenkai replacing fusing Super Vegeta on his own team. People are saying, yeah, Kid Buu's better than fusing Super Vegeta. What? Corrupted Zamasu was dangerous, don't get it twisted. But his comp was like Shin and Ultra, Vegito blue. He didn't have anybody to go against for his slot on any teams, but Kid Buu had competition and he took that #1 spot. Buu Bros couldn't hang, fusing Super Vegito couldn't hang, and on top of that they also was the powerful opponent's team, so his value was just shining a lot more through. I think that's self-explanatory, but for the people that disagreed, it's really hard to debate against that. We got the people's favorite. Now this one here, I kind of messed up, and I know that, but only because of one thing. So I had Super Saiyan God Goku, and I also had fusing Gogeta blue, but I just put Super Baby 2 because I didn't know who to put as a third. Here, I should have put Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan without a doubt. But with that being said, he still wouldn't have won. Buff God Goku on Twitter trending still is the overwhelming, undeniable factor that made him win that category. A lot of people felt also that I was including the fact that he got a plat in 2025. His plat is 2025. That has nothing to do with 2024. And fusing Gogeta Blue, close second easily. The fact that people were coping so hard for his strike assault because it's Gogeta Blue speaks for itself. But having a trending hashtag on X, Twitter, yeah, that's non-debatable, man. Let's get into the next one. The most hype release, I don't think it matters what you pick as long as it's an anniversary release. And out of the three, I also feel like the contenders are non-negotiable. The anniversary was easily the highlight of 2024. So if you're not picking Fusing Super Vegito, Fusing Gogeta Blue, or G4, any of those could have won in my opinion. But as long as you're picking one of those, I think it's fine. So however you want to take that, if you disagreed with anything in that category, I understand. For biggest comeback, a lot of people felt that Super Saiyan God Goku should have won. His plat was in 2025. He's not involved. I had Ultra Super Gogeta, Corrupted Zamasu, and Sword of Hope Trunks. Easy Sword of Hope Trunks dub. That guy is super valuable. He literally had a God Goku level plat as well. So I think it's really easily, he's that guy. On top of the fact that he's gone free for free, he just deserves it, man. Every time he comes back, it's just golden. Best new mechanic. This one here doesn't really matter what you give it to in my opinion, but I went for something that was overpowered. If you wanted to go for aesthetics, a lot of people brought up the synchro mechanic, and I think the synchro mechanic is a fun addition to the game, but would I say it's the best? No. I think Fusing Super Vegito's Rise and Rush mechanic is just stupid. It's just stupid, man. It shouldn't exist, and the fact that it's in the game, it's a free win button, which is why we got the whole period whenever he released, so June all the way through to the end of the year, and probably this year will continue, of buff cancellation units and endurance units. He's the reason. He's the reason they hard countered him because he's OP. That mechanic is dumb. So I feel like that was an easy win. But if you wanted to go for aesthetics, sure, you can give it to the synchro. The last thing I want to address is a compilation of categories. And these were things that were just blatantly opinionated. So it's not really favoritism or bias. It's just that I couldn't have done it any other way. I tried my best to be reasonable, but however you want to take it, it's fine. I don't really care who you give the best art or the best legendary finish or the best Ultra Ink art and animation. It doesn't really matter who you give it to because everybody's gonna have a differing opinion. Some people might agree with me, some people might disagree. There was nothing I could have done. Did you want me to just pick something to appease a small portion of people, or did you just want me to try and make the video as best as I could? And I felt like with the answers I gave, it made the video as best as I could. So hey, if you're mad, cry about it. But yeah, overall this was a very fun video and I'm glad I decided to make this. I appreciate all the comments, whether positive or negative. Some people are upset with their lives, so they're gonna take it out on me, and that's okay. I still entertained you and you still look for my content. And some people, it fills their day to watch the content, so I'm happy I could also do that too. But I'll most likely be doing this next year, so the feedback on this video could actually be useful, so definitely be sure to leave a comment. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.